right, let's check out what movie news is happening on Valentine. It's finally here. It's over! It is finally over, my Marvel friends. We have now officially gotten the cast for the Fantastic Four announced thanks to Marvel. In all seriousness, this is the weirdest holiday they could have chosen to announce the Fantastic Four, but maybe it'll make sense when we see the actual movie. So what I thought I'd go ahead and do here for you guys is break down this announcement along with our first look at the Fantastic Four, give you my opinion on the cast, as well as some of the Easter eggs thrown into this promotional art that give you an idea of what this movie is going to be and what time period it is going to be set in. But I don't want to just be about my opinion. I definitely want to hear from you guys. How are you feeling now that we know who the Fantastic Four are? After literally what feels like years of speculation, wondering, this person rumored, that person rumored, it's now finally in front of our faces. Are you satisfied? Are you a little disappointed? Y'all were all screaming, Marvel's back with that Deadpool Wolverine trailer. Did they quickly fall off again? Oh, that always happens, right? All right, so yes, I was in the middle of making pancakes with my honey for Valentine's Day because your boy's a Chad, what can I say? But as soon as this news dropped, I flipped that pancake and ditched her, cause the boys come first. And I was honestly shocked to see this promotional image and the reveal that they announced it as a Valentine card to fans, where the official Fantastic Four account just says, Happy Valentine's Day from Marvel's first family. Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Ebon Moss-Bachrach, and Joseph Quinn are the Fantastic Four, releasing July 25th, 2025. Another banger of a hit you have to add to your movie calendar in 2025. You better start saving your piggy bank dollars because you're going to be going to the theaters a lot in 2025. And here we have it. Staring at the art, I was just relieved it's finally over. Now, let's talk about the cast first. So, this cast has actually been rumored for a while. I think this was the most in-set place cast for the past, 4 to 5 months. It was said they were planning to announce this last year before the Hollywood strike, but that obviously pushed things. And now that it's here in front of our faces, I am going to say I like it. I think these actors are talented. I don't think, though, these are my first choices for a lot of these roles. Now, obviously, a lot of hesitancy on Pedro Pascal. Not me personally, I like him as an actor, and I think he's going to be able to pull it off, but even myself, I'll say, he wasn't the person I was expecting. A lot of people don't like the choice of Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, but I think he'll be able to prove himself as the smartest guy in the room, and it's definitely going to be a new take on Reed Richards that we haven't seen before. Honestly, the one that I most see that got, dead on perfect is Vanessa Kirby. I for sure see her as Sue Storm, and I think she's going to pull off that role really well. Ebon Moss, I think, will also do fine. I've seen him in episodes of The Bear. Some of you might know him as Cousin, and he's honestly the one I'm just most neutral on. I don't exactly love it, but I don't hate it either. I think it's just fine. I'm actually more curious on what design they'll go for the thing. But then we come to Joseph Quinn, who is an actor I do like and enjoy, but I was kind of hoping they would go younger with Johnny. But whatever the case, the man's still barely in his 30s, and in Hollywood terms, you're essentially 23, 24. So he's probably going to do a good job in the role. All this to say, I'm happy and I'm fine with this. Now let's talk about this promotional art. Now, I'm not sure how much we're supposed to take seriously this promotional art because I don't think these will be the Fantastic Four costumes. While Reed Richards and Sue Storm in this image look like they could be in a version of their costumes, Johnny Storm and Ben Grimm over here are in their lounging clothes. They're literally wearing jeans, jackets, they're not going to be fighting in those clothes. So I don't think this is our first look at the costumes. But I think it is our first look and hint to what the time period of this movie. Immediately when looking at this and the logo they released, I got 60s, late 50s vibes. And sure enough, Marvel fans were quick to point out that the magazine that the thing is reading in this promotional image is a Life magazine that was released in December of 1963. Basically letting you know this Fantastic Four movie is going to be set in the 1960s. That would then put everything full circle in the Easter egg shown in Multiverse of Madness where Doctor Strange said this.
Fantastic Four. Didn't you guys chart in the 60s?
And it looks like it was a hint to Marvel showing us what we would do. I honestly love that idea, even more when you look at the astronaut photo in the back of Ebon Moss. I'm assuming then that the Fantastic Four were a crew of astronauts during the time in America where it was the space race, where we were just trying to get up there in the moon. They were most likely a team that will get sent up into space and end up getting lost, probably in the negative zone, giving them their powers, so on and so forth. We don't know how much of an origin story this movie will be. I'm thinking they're probably gonna skip or kind of breeze by the origin story, since Marvel tends to not love to do that as much anymore. But I love the idea of this being set in the 60s, you know? The Fantastic Four are Marvel's first superhero family, and it even said here in the announcement, Marvel's first family. So it's kind of fitting that they go all the way back and tell us a story of a couple of characters that were essentially some of the first superheroes in the MCU, if this is set in the MCU. There have been other rumors along with the time period that this movie might not even be set in the main MCU timeline, that they could actually be from a parallel Earth where they're the only superheroes so far, that they don't have the exact same history as the MCU, but through their course of the journey through space and maybe eventually through Avengers Secret Wars, where they're going to combine all these different universes together and introduce the mutants, the Fantastic Four will eventually join the MCU timeline. Now that's some big, long time, far-reaching stuff. All we know for sure right now, it's definitely taking place in the 1960s. We'll have to wait and see if it's the main MCU timeline or a different one. The other obvious thing we want to talk about here is that Herbie, the robot, is being introduced, and you can also see his technology is inspired by that of the 60s. He doesn't look as technologically advanced as he does in some of the comic interpretations, and I don't mind that. One of the things I kind of love about the TVA in the MCU is how the technology is old but very advanced at the same time, and I feel like we're going to get those exact same vibes with the Marvel's Fantastic Four, where it's going to be all comprised of stuff from the 60s, but so far advanced, it rivals our technology today. Now, I was mentioning earlier, I wonder what design they're going to go with for the thing. Now, if this promotional image is to be believed, everybody is essentially looking like their comic book counterparts. Pedro Pascal has the white strips of white hair, and side note for anybody saying Pedro Pascal is too old to be playing Reed Richards, the man has white hair on his head for a reason. Dude's not supposed to be that young. I already see people complaining like that, like, oh, how are they gonna make 3 movies? Guy's about to be 60. Again, Hollywood 60 is essentially 40. Vanessa Kirby, obviously, with her more volumed up hair. Looks like they're going to give Johnny Storm his blonde hair as well. But the thing here, he is looking almost exactly like his comic book counterpart, like you would see him flipping the pages. And, you know, I wouldn't put it past Marvel to give this exact design in live action form. I wasn't the biggest fan of Josh Trank's look of the thing. It went for a more horrifying look, and I understand that. I actually do like the early 2000s thing look, even though it's not CGI. Part of me would wish they wouldn't CGI it, but they're going to either way. I wonder if this is the exact look they're going for, and if they do, this would honestly be so perfect. So really, I'm just happy that this casting announcement is out of the way. It's done. It also makes sense that this is released after the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer. Marvel has a habit of doing that, where they want to focus on their next movie coming up first, and that's Deadpool and Wolverine. That's coming to theaters this year before they start teasing the next thing. And well, since we already got that trailer released just a few days ago, it makes sense that they just picked the nearest holiday and made a themed promotional art image to go with it. But who knows, maybe this is a new trend, and on St. Patty's Day, we'll get the announcement for the new Spider-Man movie. Fingers crossed. But this is where I throw it off to you guys. You see now the first look to the Fantastic Four, the cast, the possible time period it's going to be set in. Do you think this will be on another Earth? I'd love to hear it all from you guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.